something kind of bigger, give them something really memorable. So I want to take them up to a place up in Vancouver called Urban Air. And I'm not going to give the details of like when we're doing that because trolls. But yeah, that's going to be something we do to celebrate all of their birthdays. And that's a place they've been asking to go to for like over a year now. They saw it on a YouTube ad and they were like, can we go to Urban Air? So I've been planning this out for literally a year, just trying to figure out when I could maybe possibly afford to put it in our memories. And I think I'm there. I think I finally did it. And not that I need to add this, but I'm going to. It's not anybody's business what's in our pocket. Of course, we're saving to get better housing, but we're not going to jump into something that's not permanent. In the meantime, our kids deserve memories. They deserve to have things that bring them joy in this time. Okay, bye.
Stephanie Jenkins and her partner Drew are once again the center of online chatter, and if you thought things were starting to quiet down, think again. Their saga has taken yet another bizarre turn, and the internet can't look away. What started months ago as a story about a family temporarily living in a motel has now spiraled into something far more complicated, full of broken promises, dramatic excuses, and a new layer of paranoia that feels straight out of a soap opera. For a long time now, Stephanie has been telling anyone who will listen on TikTok that her family's situation is temporary. She's insisted that she's doing her best, facing hardship after hardship, trying to shield her children from struggles that outsiders can't understand. But the longer her story plays out, the more followers are starting to question what exactly is going on. Because the kids are still in that motel, living day after day in a cramped room, they're still not enrolled in school. They're still missing out on the kind of experiences that any child in their position should have. And while Stephanie explains it away with passionate monologues about barriers and setbacks, critics say the reality is much simpler, things aren't changing, and the excuses just keep piling up. One moment that really put her under the microscope was her highly emotional announcement of a big family outing to Urban Air, the trampoline park that her kids had apparently been begging to visit for over a year. Stephanie hyped it up like it was going to be the trip of a lifetime, a way to make up for missed birthdays, a kind of symbolic gift to her kids after everything they've endured. She even got ahead of the skeptics by clarifying that yes, this outing had been budgeted for carefully, no, it wasn't going to dip into housing savings, and yes, the kids absolutely deserved happiness even in the middle of their difficult circumstances. It sounded like maybe, finally, she was going to follow through. But just as has happened before, that grand promise fizzled into nothing. Days turned into weeks, then weeks into months. No trampoline park. No family celebration. Just another broken promise folded into her endless cycle of declarations that never seemed to materialize. And then came the event the internet is now calling the E-Park incident. In an unexpected move, Stephanie and Drew finally took their kids to a nearby park. For most families, this wouldn't even be remarkable, kids playing outside, stretching their legs, enjoying swings and slides in the sun. But when it comes to Stephanie, this moment was a rarity. For once, the children were outside the four walls of the motel, getting air, moving freely, acting like ordinary kids. It should have been remembered as simple and wholesome. But instead, it quickly unraveled into yet another round of drama. Immediately after the outing, Stephanie got online with a story that sounded like something from a suspense series. She described how multiple cars appeared during their park visit, pulling up slowly, one after another. She claimed the drivers lingered, some pointing their phones in her direction, others just staring. She made it seem as though she was being surveilled by a shadowy group, targeting her and her kids for reasons unknown. At the center of her suspicions, she described seeing a black Mercedes and suggested that vehicle had no reason to be there. According to her, this wasn't coincidence. It was proof that she and her children were under watch. As she's done so many times before, she filmed the scene on her phone and uploaded it. But what the footage actually showed told quite a different story than her narration. The clip revealed a car parked quietly in a public area, not approaching her, with no visible passengers confronting her or her family. No license plate was visible, no indication of who owned it, and no signs of danger. Yet Stephanie presented it with urgency, warning viewers that moments like this explain why she avoids taking her children outdoors. Drew, in quiet but consistent fashion, backed her up, standing by her side and validating the fear that this was some kind of targeted intimidation. The online response was swift, and it wasn't supportive. Many said Stephanie's story was a stretch at best and paranoia at worst. Onlookers accused her of transforming ordinary situations into high-drama episodes designed to justify why her children remain inside a motel room instead of going to school or experiencing a normal childhood. They linked this incident to an ongoing pattern. Every time a missed promise or failure to deliver sparks tough questions, there always seems to be a new threat that explains it away. Now people are asking whether Stephanie and Drew are truly under pressure from unseen forces, or whether the drama is self-created as a way to deflect attention from uncomfortable truths. Why haven't the children been enrolled in school? Why has the urban air trip never happened? Why is every setback wrapped in a new tale of danger? On social media, those questions have turned into debates. Some believe Stephanie's fears are genuine, that she's fragile and overburdened but earnest in her attempts to protect her children. Others believe this is a manipulative cycle, excuse after excuse, outlandish tale after outlandish tale, to justify a way of living that's doing more harm than good. Through it all, Drew has stayed at Stephanie's side, rarely the central voice but always present as the partner who backs her decisions and echoes her doubts about the outside world. His role feeds into the narrative. To some, he's loyal. To others, he's complicit in choices that keep the children trapped in limbo. And the longer this continues, the louder those conversations become. The park incident has now joined the growing list of chapters in Stephanie Jenkins' life story that the internet can't stop dissecting. Remember that video? The one where she sat in front of the camera, eyes shining with hope, voice full of determination, telling the world she was finally ready to give her kids the joy they deserved? That video had all the vibes of a comeback moment. It was optimistic. It was emotional. It was supposed to be the redemption arc Stephanie promised Urban Air, a trampoline park adventure, not just as a family outing. Oh no. She made it sound like the event of the year, a magical turning point loaded with meaning. Forget about bouncing on trampolines, this was marketed as bouncing back in life. Internet supporters were rooting for her hard, wiping away tears and typing out, "You got this, mama." But let's get real here. Weeks went by, then months passed, and what happened? Absolutely nothing. No bright, happy footage from Urban Air. No kids squealing with delight over arcade games. No Instagram-worthy snapshots of smiling faces. Just silence. Stone-cold radio silence. The trampoline trip that was promised with so much emotional weight turned into yet another ghost promise, vanishing just like countless ones before it. And Stephanie's tone?
On this fine, beautiful Saturday, I felt inspired. The sun was beaming and I wanted to take my babies out and enjoy the sun and go to our favorite park. And I want to make sure that wherever I go, I'm no more than 10 minutes away from my man so he can get to us if he needs to. And look, I'm not trying to be dramatic or anything. It's not like anything too extreme went down, but when I did notice stuff was getting a little sus, I got my babies and packed up and left because no, we're just sitting here trying to enjoy our time at the swing when some car pulls up directly behind us and just starts repeatedly honking. Like, I mean, for like 10 minutes straight, spewing some crap out the window, but I wasn't paying attention. But they were also on the phone, and mysteriously a bunch of other cars start popping up and parking where they could see me and my kids and staring in our direction. It was just getting weird. Now, when they noticed I was trying to like pack my kids up and get to my car, these cars started to go towards where I was parked. One of which tried to park directly in front of me, kind of impeding my way of getting out, and sat there and started honking. Y'all are a little low-key smart for doing this when I'm with my kids because you know I'm not about to do anything when I have my children, but if I was by myself, I think the situation would go a little different. But yeah, that's kind of why I stay home.
No. You just bought King a $70 wireless PS5 headset remote, and you are saying you're going to use this trip for Urban Air, which would cost like $200, as all of your kids' birthday present. That's all you're going to spend on 5 children.
That's a place they've been asking to go to for like over a year now.
We all know you got about $10,000-$15,000+ in what, April? So to say that you've been planning this for a year is, it doesn't seem right.
Oh, it changed. Big time. Where there was once this grand, hopeful energy, suddenly there was hesitation, and the word later started creeping into her sentences like a third character in the saga. Soon, instead of joy, it was all about priorities. Responsibilities. Bills. Housing emergencies. The story shifted from, "We saved up for this special memory," to "Now's not the right time." She even pointed the finger at the trolls, insisting online negativity ruined it all, making her feel unsafe sharing her plans or even leaving her lodge of excuses. In other words, Urban Air faded into yet another line in Stephanie's greatest hits of, "Oh, not today, maybe tomorrow." And let's just say, the crowd wasn't exactly cheering anymore. Now here's where the cheesiness turns fierce. Roughly 2 months after the Urban Air fiasco fizzled into silence, Stephanie posted something completely different. This time it wasn't about her kids. This time it wasn't about safety. This time it wasn't about making memories. No, this upload was about Drew. Her beloved. Her ride or die. And more specifically, a gift she bought him, a shiny brand new PS5 wireless controller. Yes, you read that right, the children's long-awaited birthday adventure got buried, but Drew got himself a slick gaming upgrade, priced at around $70, maybe even more with shipping and tax. And let me tell you, followers noticed. This wasn't just a gift. This was symbolism served on a silver platter. Because while promises for the kids turn into broken timelines and mysterious dangers, Drew's gaming needs. Oh, those hit express shipping. No trolls magically materialized to block that purchase. No lurking cars showed up at the electronics shop. No instant worries about finances or housing savings. It was smooth sailing from checkout to unboxing. The message this sent was clear: kids can wait, but Drew doesn't have to put down his controller. The reactions blew up. Stephanie's most loyal fans stayed in her corner, clapping back against what they called unfair bullying. They said the internet is just waiting for her to slip up, judging her every purchase, and that people forget she's just trying to survive. To them, the controller wasn't a scandal at all, it was simply a girlfriend taking care of her boyfriend. And for these fans, Stephanie's ongoing fears weren't far-fetched, but all too real. In their eyes, being a public figure with children already made her a target, and of course she felt unsafe. But the skeptical crowd? Honey, they went in. They started pointing out the pattern louder than ever. Because here's the tea, every time Stephanie makes a big promise to her kids, whether it's school, a birthday plan, or even something as simple as a day outside, a brand new crisis conveniently appears. Always dramatic, always all-encompassing, but rarely backed up with hard evidence. Meanwhile, Drew conveniently sidesteps every obstacle. He never misses his gaming upgrades. No mysterious safety threats jump out when it's time to order him gifts. His milestones get ceremonies, while the kids' milestones get excuses. And people took it further. They started asking the uncomfortable questions. Was this really about being protective? Or was Stephanie constructing her own walls, not just against the outside world but around the truth itself? Was every ominous car and troll comment being used as camouflage to hide from commitments she never intended to keep? And Drew, is he just innocently standing by her side, or quietly enjoying being the exception in a household where the children are the ones living under restrictions? The emotional undercurrent only intensified. For some, this isn't laughable anymore, it's concerning. This isn't just about scrap trips or shady budgeting. It's about kids who are being told, not now, so often that childhood itself is slipping past them in slow motion. Critics now argue that what Stephanie dresses up as protection looks a lot like isolation. What she sells as selflessness feels suspiciously like control. And while she doubles down on her own struggles, her children keep missing the milestones and experiences that form the heart of growing up. Yet Stephanie continues to craft her narrative, painting herself as a mother under constant siege, and Drew remains steadfast right beside her. To their supporters, this dynamic only proves their loyalty and resilience. But to critics, it's proof of a darker imbalance, where children's joy perpetually dissolves and adult comfort skate through untouched. One week, Stephanie confidently declared she had the Urban Air trip money saved and ready, solid, untouchable, a separate budget dedicated to joy. The next, she tearfully claimed she no longer had it, that rent and bills had devoured the savings. Earlier, she reassured followers on camera, insisting over and over that housing funds were never going to interfere with the trampoline park celebration. But cut to a few weeks later, and suddenly rent priorities became the very excuse that erased the promise. And what's worse, followers say, is that the entire foundation of her content was sold as a way to create joyful memories for her kids. That was supposed to be the heart of it all, documenting their struggles, yes, but also celebrating resilience, family, and small victories. Yet those victories have been harder and harder to find. Instead of clips of adventure, laughter, or progress, viewers are met with long-winded motel monologues, real-time drama dumps, and crisis mode updates that slide further and further away from action and deeper into avoidance. All the children actually seem to be getting are cramped indoor stays, rare glimpses of the outside world, and promises that evaporate into thin air. And meanwhile, critics point out, Drew's comforts keep sailing through untouched. Every roadblock that trips up a family plan magically disappears when it comes to gifting him gaming gear or indulging his needs. No mysterious cars linger around when there's a PlayStation controller on the line. No crippling wave of trolls erupts when Drew is due for something new. And that string of exceptions has started to paint a much bigger picture for the people watching closely. The pattern is impossible to ignore now. Every pivotal opportunity, whether it's a birthday vow, a day in the park, or a long-hyped trampoline trip, eventually gets blocked by a last-minute emotional twist. And it's never something small or mundane, it's always epic. Always dramatic. Always dripping in crisis. Safety threats. Financial ruin. Betrayals. Endless harassment. The explanations come rolling in like cliffhanger finales, except they're strangely selective. Conveniently, these explosions of chaos never seem to touch Drew's comfort zone. They only seem to get in the way of the kids' joy. So now the gossip mill is spinning faster than ever. Are these really obstacles, or are they shields? Has Stephanie unconsciously, or deliberately, built a cycle of excuses that not only delays accountability but also keeps the spotlight firmly under her control? Are the trolls and threats as real as she claims, or are they narrative devices, perfectly placed dominoes designed to fall just when too many people start pressing her on those unfulfilled promises? And here's the cheesy, dramatic kicker, some followers are even asking if Stephanie has spun this web so tightly that she believes her own storyline. Has she convinced herself that every setback is fate targeting her, rather than a pattern of her own creation? Or is she still the embattled mom she claims to be, caught inside an exhausting storm of judgment, financial struggle, and public pressure, doing what she can to survive? The internet is divided hard. Is she manipulative, misunderstood, or just plain overwhelmed? Because the timeline is all there, from the birthday trips that never happened, to the park incidents that unraveled, to the controllers purchased while the children's hopes evaporated. Every promise, every pivot, every blurred priority has been documented in real time for all to see. And now, people can't help but ask themselves the big, burning question, is this the portrait of a parent slipping further into neglect and manipulation, or one of a mother drowning in desperation and clinging to whatever scraps of control she can gather? So, the floor belongs to the audience now. The gossip is everywhere, the evidence is on replay, and the debate is raging hot across TikTok, Reddit, and beyond. So what do you think, guys? Protection, manipulation, or just drama? Drop your thoughts below, like, and subscribe for more tea.